Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer. Joining me is a man who occasionally gets taken in by really nice couples and then he promptly just destroys their bathroom.
Oh God,
It's Nathan LaHaye.
with the worst CGI too. It's I don't even care.
And
If,
listen,
if
when I
I'm gonna
say,
do it, it's gonna be disgusting on all accounts.
I'm not saying destroy as in like smell. I'm talking about literally slash, like blow up the bathroom.
I'm gonna fake destroy it with that whole sink is just gonna fall apart. I'm gonna fake cut myself and just stare at my hands in a stupor is what's gonna happen.
It's going to look like
So
the bathroom from Mission Impossible Fallout when you're done with it.
there you go. Do I get to cock my fists too?
Yeah. No, wait. Terminator 3 is what it's going to look like.
Is it gonna look like the True Lies bathroom?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. One
That's
of those. One
wonderful.
of those. No,
Got to throw True Lies in there wherever I can for certain listeners, viewers, and people that aren't fans of that movie. I won't say names.
I love me some True Lies, but yeah, Andy. Oh man, on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook, Nathan and Andy, who just joined us on Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, really hilarious guy. They have a fun feud, not feud. It's a friendship, a friend feud over True Lies, and it's
It's
hilarious.
it's it's I would say if anything a misunderstanding over
Yeah.
that movie. I just don't understand how he doesn't enjoy it and kind of despises it. But speaking of despising movies, Mark, let's cut the chit chat. Let's get right into the meat of it. We're talking X-Men Origins. Oh
I
God,
I can't despise this movie, and I'm going to tell you why.
please
It
tell me.
it was shot during like okay, everything was done wrong. Okay,
Yes,
I'm not saying this movie was correctly made,
they
but
had good intentions. I mean, just look at the cast in
yeah,
itself.
they
I
shot
mean,
it.
I made something the other day, or I made a comment that someone was talking about something that was perfectly cast and wasted, and I was like, the perfect saber tooth you could have ever had with Liv Schreiber, and just in the worst, arguably the worst
Yeah,
X movie. But yeah, he was the shining light for me. And of course Kevin Durant and whatever he's in. But yeah, just I mean, if you look at the cast, you think this was just going to be a banger. Like you got Danny Houston, you got Kevin Durant, you have Dominic Monaghan, you got like all these people. Of course, Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and like how could it be bad? Yet here we are.
and they shot it during the writer's strike, and so they went into it without a completed script. And so they went into it without a completed script. The writers left, and then the studio they're like, "We want Gambit." Then they go, "We want Deadpool." And so you have an X-Men Origins about Wolverine, but it's an origin story that it's not an origin story. We don't get to see him learn his powers. There's no origin story there.
Yeah,
Then it's a revenge tale where a woman is killed, supposedly killed, but we never find out how they met. They're just
yeah.
together. And she has like six lines. And
Don't
because
know how long. Like
the,
they're really banking on the people that know the character going into it, because they're like, oh, that's got to be Silver
yeah,
Fox.
she
Oh,
puts her
that's the
hand on
Weapon X program.
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it. It's and I mean, to an extent you do, because when they're just introducing people in the plane, like other than, oh, there's Wolverine, there's Sabretooth, clearly it's like, Fred Dukes, everyone's like, there's Blob, or
Wade
talking about
Wilson.
Wade, they know exactly who it is without people saying it until the end of the movie when they mentioned the Deadpool, and it's just
Ugh.
ruined. Oh God, we'll get to that
and
later.
but here's the thing, like, so we're introduced to her, but the script changed every day, so they couldn't storyboard, they couldn't do any of that. So when you watch a lot of this film, a lot of the dialogue scenes are just stationary. They don't go anywhere, they don't move. Like whenever Lynn Collins or Silver Fox is talking, she stands in one place, and if she
Mm-hmm.
moves, she walks forward 3 feet. That's because they couldn't storyboard. They had no time on this set to plan out dolly shots, to plan out anything. And
Yeah,
like the action always changed. So that's why the action never looks great, because they didn't even know like what the action was going to be. So they're just out in Australia with an unfinished script. They throw in Ryan Ryan Reynolds. They throw in Taylor Kitsch,
Taylor
who's
Kitsch.
great in Friday Night Lights. I love him.
Absolutely. And
And
again, you think like, oh, this is gonna do really well, and it just wasn't. Oh,
wasn't.
it
And
was so painful. I
like
can do this is one of those movies that I still remember exactly how I felt in the theater at like every scene, it was the first movie where I sat through the credits not because I wanted to, I just had to collect myself. Like I went with my wife Elise and then our really good friend Greg Clark, and they were like getting ready to go, like the final scene with with Deadpool's head showed up, and they're like, "Oh, all right, you ready?" I was like, "Oh, I can't move right now." They're like, "You all right?" I was like, "I'm so angry.
Yeah,
I can't try to process what I watched."
it's not
But
really a movie. Like the final fight is them standing on a ledge, and the only place that Deadpool can teleport is on either side of them. Like
back to back,
they
you
had
got to have the back to back callback, which
Chekhov's back to back.
it hits me the same way that Newton and Proud did in First Class. It's
Yeah,
just like, oh, it's just put in there too many times. I'm just, no,
yeah,
stop it.
and it the reason I can't hate this movie is they forced way too many things on it. It should
Mm-hmm.
have like remember, okay, they forced way too many things on it. It was during the writer's strike, and it just I think it was just doomed from the beginning. And I think because of that, Ryan, Hugh Jackman teamed up with, oh my gosh, the guy who directed Mother and Noah and The Fountain that they worked together with. Why
Oh God.
I am Requiem for a Dream. Remember when the guy who did Requiem for a Dream was supposed to direct? And I was just here, just a second. Oh, Darren Aronofsky.
Aronofsky.
He was supposed
It
to,
was right out there, me
yeah,
too. I was like, it was coming, and then, yep.
and then he dropped out, and then James Mangold stepped in. Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds didn't want to do the movie, but they're like, "Hey, we'll cast somebody else." He's like, "Oh, well, I guess I got to go do the movie." And I think both of them. I mean, Reynolds still did Green Lantern and R.I.P.D., so he didn't totally learn yet. But I think that experience, people learned from it, and you see the mistakes, same mistakes made all the time. You bring it's like Gavin Hood, right? He had only directed what Rendition, which was a small movie, and he won an Academy Award for this movie, what Tsitsi, that he shot in South Africa. And so he had never done a big budget film. And then Hugh Jackman's like, I like your movie, man. You want to come do a movie with me where I have like Wolverine has a lot of PTSD and he's just like broken inside? And he's like, yeah. And then they're like, okay, well, it's PG-13. We're gonna do rewrites. There's a writer's strike. We don't have a script. The budget's 100 million. Well, you're going to Australia. Good luck. And like Richard Donner had to come in and direct scenes. Like he ghost directed it. And like it was just a movie that never, ever, ever was gonna work. And so I think that's why I don't hate it. Because I just see behind the scenes and I just watch everything that went wrong. And so now that I
I can
understand,
see, yeah, I can see where you're getting at with, like, if you know how the sausage is made, then you have a different perspective or at least an understanding of what went into it and how it just wasn't there. And even you talking to me about like all of the just like the still shots, they didn't have dollies and things like that. It makes sense, like where there should have been something happening, like what is it when there was a standoff between Wolverine and Sabretooth, and there was the infamous, he's just sitting there and he puts his fist up and the claws slowly come out. It's like that's not what should have happened
yeah,
at all. Like Wolverine is not a stationary character.
it,
In any movie, in any comic book, in any cartoon, he's constantly going. I reread Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men run recently, and one of the whole things in that storyline was the Danger Room kind of became sentient, came alive, and had its own body and all this stuff. And as it's fighting the X-Men, it's calculating everything, and Wolverine is always going first, and Danger is what the entity goes by, and she's always just like, "Yep," as if I wouldn't have guessed. Here he comes again. Never thinks, always jumps. And so, and that's exactly it in any rendition that it is. And so, for him to just threaten someone, I'm just going to stand here and let the claws do the talking. Like, come on,
yeah,
man.
but they didn't have time. And
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy when you think about Iron Man, the joy that we had while watching Robert Downey Jr. build that
Oh
suit.
God,
Remember the joy.
everything.
An Avatar that came out in 2009. Remember when Jake Sully got his avatar and he just started running, and you
Oh yeah.
experienced that joy.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine's always been morose, but we never got to experience him
Be happy.
ever, or like
Yeah.
learn his powers. He never
Yeah.
learns his powers. We don't see him meeting anybody. We don't like it's like the strangest it's a Frankenstein movie. James Gunn said something recently that I deeply admire. And his last few movies, I think he said he's only had like a couple days worth of reshoots. Some of these movies, the new Captain America movie, they hired an incredible director. He did a movie called Loose, but they've reshot it all, and the budget's up in like 375 million. The Marvels got over 300 million because of the reshoots, and there's nothing wrong with these. Like, I like the Marvels, but like if they,
Yeah, I thought it was great. I
but see,
don't see the hate that
but
it
the amount
gets.
of money they spent on it is ludicrous, and the amount of
Yeah.
reshoots. What I love about James Gunn is, and I'm going to tie this back into Wolverine. And listen, many movies have gone in without scripts and just turned in like really bad. Like Poseidon, a lot of these movies are just surviving each day. I think when you're surviving each day on set, like Ryan Reynolds said, he flew into Australia, was jet lagged. They stuffed him in an elevator. He completely tanked all his lines. They were going to move on with the day. And he's like, Hugh, can I do this one more time? Hugh got everyone back in the elevator. And those are why some of the lines are okay. Like this, that's how
Hmm.
this movie was shot. What I love though is that, and like, so you can't be good. You're just surviving each day. That's what I think this movie was. And James Gunn, though, he'll finish his script months in advance. He'll send it to everybody. He'll send it to the VFX companies. He'll storyboard everything. Very little changes on set. So I worked on Guardians too, and the days are long. Well, no, they're actually French hours, so it's 10 hours. But every day he would get the same line 10, 15 times, 20 times, 15 times. Like every scene was really controlled, but you don't have
Hmm.
to go back for reshoots because you get it. And the reason the VFX looks so incredible in his films, there's no reshoots that to rush studios. There's no changes the day of. Like everything is shot his plan. Everything is his plan. So his movies look gorgeous and they're cheaper than a lot of movies that don't look nearly as good, only because he has a finished script.
And the
And
amount of preparation that
yeah,
goes into it
and then
because yeah.
like VFX company, and he edits when they shoot. So the VFX companies know what to add. They have plenty of time. But it gets expensive when you do the 24/7 stuff, when you work overtime, when you like rush that. So he doesn't have any of his people doing that. So whenever people watch his movies and are like, why do his look better? That's the reason.
Hmm.
With this movie, you have a very young, untested director. You have a plot that completely changes. You
Ugh.
and so that's why. Like that's why this movie, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying it's good. But I mean, look at all the good X-Men movies, like X-Men 2. That's when Bryan Singer had like it
Oh,
was
the
very
best one.
focused. But
I'll
then you
die on
look
this
at
hill. X2 is the best X movie.
like Last Stand, he was supposed to do it, and then Matthew Vaughn was supposed to do it, and then Brett Ratner dropped it, came in at the last minute, and that there's very like that's dude. Jean Grey never moves in that movie; she just stands there because it's just no one knew what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
And you have X-Men Apocalypse. That set was a nightmare. Like I know people who worked on that. It's a nightmare. So it's
I think I don't know what it is with this. Would be another episode to do it on, but Apocalypse to me had no like kind of with Wolverine. It seemed like they didn't know what they were wanting to do. They added too much into it,
yeah.
and it was just rush, 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 rush. My favorite thing to say about X Men Apocalypse is Apocalypse made the whole thing about I have to find the most powerful mutants and then to become my horseman, and literally the first three he finds, like yes, you're my horse. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Yeah, it's
Anyways,
but that had a lot of production problems. And so I
yeah.
think you look at Deadpool and like just Deadpool 1, 2, and Deadpool 1 and 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, that was Ryan Reynolds' vision. Tim Miller helped a lot. And
Mhm.
then like so he was able to keep it his vision. Like you just it's a Ryan Reynolds movie. You make it, and those why those are so successful. There's no personality clashes. They're not three movies in one. It's Deadpool. So, I'm not trying to lecture people about movies. I just think this film, it's not good. Characters don't
Yeah.
walk. All the characters are stationary. That joke about Blob and Bub hurts. But like everyone was struggling. I think every day on this movie, people are like, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna shoot? What are we gonna say? Like,
You
what are
know
we
what
gonna
would have been fantastic? That would have been an easy solution. They could focus on one thing. And I've said this since the movie came out. I
make it
will
a
say
X,
it to
make
the
it a
day.
Wolverine origin story?"
I mean, yes, but if they had just like the best part in that entire movie was the opening credits. And if they had just followed, like, what a great freaking concept. Let's just follow James and Victor through all the major wars in the US and overseas. Like, come on. I would watch them like in the Civil War and then change it up and essentially tell the same story, but do it in World War One. And then we're like, how great would that have been? And then you can end the movie with Stryker finding them like after they've been shot. Like that could have led into
Yep.
something else where they could have had more time to do everything else. But
You don't
oh my,
even need
that
Stryker
was
then, though, because think about this. Like, remember that scene in Vietnam where Sabretooth is just murdering people?
oh yeah yeah yeah.
You slowly have them growing apart, and then they become enemies. Like Sabretooth
Mm-hmm.
wants to assault women, he wants to murder people. Like that bloodlust is growing. Wolverine doesn't want that, but so they fight together for hundreds of years, and then they grow apart. Like, and then
Mm-hmm.
they like, I think that's strong, right? Or, you can even have Stryker, then like, what, bring Stryker in, and then the two diverge from there. It's really simple. But what's kind of crazy, Nathan? It's like simple isn't easy. Like, if simple was easy, every movie would be like really good. If you think about the simplicity of Predator, the simplicity of Alien, like they're not simple, right? Those things,
Even kind of the simplicity, I would say, of like It Follows. There's something that gets
it
passed
follows.
on, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. That's why I loved that movie so
there's no
much. Is
lore.
the thing.
Or,
Here's the thing. You do the
yeah,
thing, and even looking back to like Evil Dead, book releases demons,
there it is.
kind of it.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Iron Man. That's why the MCU succeeded. And I know a lot of people are like, the story, the writing is so good. I'm like, it's good blockbuster writing, but the first Iron Man, it was just Robert Downey Jr. exploded off the screen. It's about a jerk who becomes a better dude. Uh,
Yeah,
and then you have Thor. It's about an awesome guy who becomes more awesome. And then Captain America. It's about a noble guy becoming more noble on steroids. Like yeah, like it's very simple. You just keep it very simple. And then like Black Panther's a hero's journey. That same year, Aquaman was a hero's journey. Like you just keep the plot simple. You can focus on characters, and everyone can follow it. I don't know what
yeah.
X-Men Origins isn't a hero's journey. It's not a revenge story. It's not an X-Men movie. It's not anything. It's just sort of he's
There are
no
a bunch of
different.
elements that are thrown together to try to make it work so that it can fit the title.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like it was a lot of the characters in that initial grouping for like the Weapon X program that they had, like Dominic Monaghan's character. I would have loved to have known more about like where he came from, why he was in it, why he left. And I'm sure it was just something like, oh, he's a carny, he's in the carnival now. He needed the money, that's why he joined up with Stryker. Where did the money go? Did he piss it all away? Did he do this? Now he's back in the carnival. And I mean, Blob is such a fun character. Like, oh, he broke up with the woman he loved and now he's fat. I was like, that's lazy. Come on, let's do something else.
All the fat
And
jokes, and he didn't even move much. He's in a boxing ring, doesn't really move.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Even Will I Am teleports, but he never teleports far.
yeah.
Teleports like he's just bloop 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 bloop. It's
And even getting into like we need Gambit in here is like they didn't really do a lot with Gambit other than the little bow staff friggin' catapult that he did twice. And then the weird like uh now you see me card trick that he like does. And I'm just like like they wanted Gambit in there so bad. They wanted Deadpool in there so bad, but they completely just like didn't, it's the whole argument like you have to play to the fan base. You have to make the nerds happy to make it kind of successful, do all that stuff. If you change up too much or you just go on a whim, it's going to get decimated. And I mean that this is a perfect example of that with everything they did with Deadpool. We're going to take the merc with the mouth and sew his mouth shut so he can't talk. We're gonna do like Gambit and this big like loner or whatever, and like I don't even know what to say about Gambit. He was just in there to be
he's
in
in an
there.
airplane, and
He
then he
could have
just pops
not.
up
He
at the
could have
end.
not been in the movie, and it would have been the exact same movie. Logan could
Deadpool.
have hired. Yeah, Logan could have hired a South Korean smuggler to fly a plane and get him where he needed to go. Like it would have been the exact same movie. Then I would say there's more of a case for Wade being in there because trying to find a villain and harvesting powers and everything that would have been that made sense to me, but it was executed like nonsense.
The
But
head
yeah,
studio guy was like, no one wants to hear a guy talking while fighting, and so they showed his mom. That's a head of the
sure.
studio.
Yeah,
Was like, no,
that's why Spider-Man wasn't successful when Sam Raimi did it.
yeah, and
You know, I
it's just crazy. And but see, the thing is, Hollywood doesn't learn. If you look at like Blade Trinity, you have Wesley Snipes carries the first two films. He's quiet. He's
Mhm.
with Chris Christopherson. He's quiet too. You bring in Scud for a little bit, Norman Reedus. You don't, and then you for the third one, and as opposed to just letting Wesley have his film, you bring in a silent Archer and then Ryan Reynolds who just talks the entire time, and then you just lost the movie. So it's like these, it's Hollywood will always do it. Look at Superman 3. Like look at all these films. It's not.
Are you trying to tell me that Richard Pryor ruined that movie, Mark?
Listen, I love Richard Pryor, but it's just the weird decisions that people make. And it's like, let's just like completely like let's just completely not do what people love about these characters. And uh, I just kind of love it. I love that Hollywood is just this really like fallible creation where some movies just go so wrong.
Can you
And
imagine? So like they had a couple Wolverines already before Origins came out. They had, X-Men, X-Men 2, and like, they did fairly well. And in X-Men 2, I still think, the Wolverine had some very good moments. It still is not my favorite movie, which again, we can get into things later. But I think Hugh Jackman Wolverine in X2 was the most Wolverine he's ever been. Just the berserker rage and the
yeah,
mansion and everything else going through. And like Logan, not saying anything about Logan or anything else, the Wolverine, he was just straight up murdering people, which I thought was great. But yeah, if can you imagine if like, something similar, like, oh, we had a couple, like if they took John Wick, like doesn't say a whole lot, just murders people, and they're like, you know what, John Wick 4, he's been through a lot. I think he's got some stuff to say. How like that would have pissed people off. Just like if he was just trying to,
got you,
quick,
got you, got you, got you,
yeah,
got you,
just
got you.
doing quips throughout the whole thing, like throwing out Schwarzenegger-esque, you're fired, and things like that, or don't lose your head, blah, breaks his neck or something like that. Like people would have been pissed.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. Like, yeah, Hollywood, yeah, they don't learn, but in certain instances they know what works and they'll stick with it. And I think that says a lot to the people that are attached to the same projects, like John Wicks. If I'm sure Keanu was very 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 adamant about certain things staying a certain way,
cut all of
and
my
they kind of
lines.
needed to. Yeah, exactly. And it makes me wonder, like how much Hugh Jackman in certain stages in the movies, like how much he fought for, how much he was just like, oh yeah, let's do it. It's a living type of thing.
I th-
But I don't know. He seems from the get go that he was very passionate and very protective of the character. So it makes me wonder, yeah, just what the hell went on with this one in
listen,
particular.
this runaway trains happen to everybody. And this
Yeah.
movie, he brought in Gavin Hood. It's a big budget film, and it just the writer strike happened, and everyone just started going, okay, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. Like we got to fix this. And so I think they went into it without a script. And I think he's the reason why it got made. I think he's the reason why, like that poor guy, man, the bathroom scene, the helicopter scene, like it's a not like he
This is my big question about that, when they're like any movie where it's just like that CGI, ugh, like it just makes you wince, like audibly, like intake of air, or just your stomach feel like there's no way and no excuse that could be like, look, my question is that when you look at things so good for practical effects, like if you look, I always reference Underworld. The Lycans were full on bodysuits. There was not a whole lot of CGI except when they were like climbing on the walls and stuff. Why in that bathroom scene, like at the very first, like, oh, there are the claws, CGI. Give them practical claws. In how many scenes and how many of these movies did he just have practical prosthetic claws? He could have hit that freaking sink and it could have fallen apart. Like it would have been cheaper. It would have given Hugh something to do, physically as an actor, instead of just like trying to stare at his hands with bad CGI and then like try to make it work. Like I just like, why, Mark, why didn't
well
they do
well
that?
Underworld had,
Uh,
the director was Len Weissman, and he came from a special effects background. Then you had Patrick Tatopoulos, who was the production designer, who also did the creatures. He came from a production design, costume design, creature design background. The reason they got that movie is they went to, I think they went to Budapest, and they just shot the movie on the cheap, but they put a lot of work into the mood and he sold the film based on the designs. The designs came
yeah,
first because that's what's important for those movies. I'm
yeah.
telling you, man, I'm not trying to like lecture, but like this movie had no script.
Yes, you are. You're a
And
film teacher.
you
Don't
know,
you tell me you're not trying to
they
lecture.
shot in Australia and then they completely did all the reshoots in Canada. So like VFX companies are like, what are we doing? Like what are these VFX? Like when are we working on this? And like when they went to Canada to do big reshoots, they didn't have a lot of time to make that good for the final product. So, they didn't even have a lot of time for like movement. Like he's walking away from the helicopter. It's not a well shot thing. And like even Gavin Hood, he said he didn't, the second unit director just shot like it was an 80s action movie and he didn't like that. I didn't even know this movie was in the 70s. So I'm like, that's how I was like, when does this take place? Because everyone's dressed like it's 2004. And
Yeah.
if I honestly, man, I thought this movie took place in modern day. And
Yeah,
it
there's nothing that would have been like other than like maybe the like bar scene that Remy was in, or like yeah,
it look it like
Logan
no
is
one.
working as a lumberjack. What does a lumberjack look like in the 70s? Probably what they look. Look like now.
The
There's only
clothes,
so much you can do with it.
no one tried with the clothes, no one tried.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it was just, we gotta go, we gotta survive. I really think each day was like, what are we doing today? Let's just do something today. And so people were like, well, we can't think about wardrobes. You can't think about wardrobe if you don't have a script. What are we going to put these extras in? I don't even know if we have extras. So I I'm telling, like, that's why they were behind on every aspect of this. And I think that's why it suffered. And it's like, I can't hate Hugh Jackman for it. Ryan Reynolds didn't want to
Yeah.
do it, but they told him he had to do it. If you're Taylor Kitsch, you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to join this. Cause
Yeah.
I just
Who
want to,
doesn't want to be Gambit? Exactly.
I'm like, I
And
want to kind
I
of,
think
oh, sorry, go for it.
yeah, I was gonna say to your point with everything, like it'd be different if like there are definitely movies that you can look back and think and be like, that movie would have been awesome if it weren't for this one actor. That role was awful. If they had gotten a different, like, it would have made me a whole lot better. No one in this movie, I think, like even Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, like you can't blame him for the stuff that was thrown on him. Like everyone in the movie acting wise, I think did a really good job. Danny Houston as Stryker was great. He's a great actor in pretty much anything he is in, even like 30 Days a Night, where he had
Oh,
what,
he's
maybe like
great.
5 lines of dialogue. He was like just the presence he had on screen. When he was in I think he was in a season of American Horror Story. I think was it the Coven season. He was great. He was awesome. He's wonderful. So like, you can't blame him. You certainly can't blame Hugh Jackman. I will die on the hill of Kevin Durant is memorable
Yeah, he's
in every
great.
movie he's in, because the small amount of time that he gets, he makes the most of it, and he is memorable. We did Legion. I know we talked about Smoking Aces, in certain things on the Movies, Films, and Flakes Facebook page, and just you and I through text and things like that. Walking Tall, like he had a goon part, but he was memorable in that for everything. So it's you can't blame the
No.
actors at all. It's just, and even then, with you saying with the script and everything else, you can't really blame the director. But I hear what you're saying about the problems going into it, why it didn't work out really well, and kind of the, for lack of a better word, excuses as to why it wasn't as good as it should be. But man, I've got to disagree with you. I can still hate it. I
No,
still
that's
hate
fair.
this movie
That's
so
fair.
easily.
Yeah. It's just, it was doomed from the start, and so many
Yeah.
bad decisions were made. They didn't understand the characters. And let's look through the history of X-Men. So the first X-Men came out in 2000. It made $296 million on a $75 million budget, right? X-Men 2
Mm.
comes out, makes 406 million. It's between that, Blade, Spider-Man, people are like, okay, comic book movies can be good.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Like
yeah.
Blade 2, X2, Spider-Man 2 in 2000, yeah, 4 or 3. Great. And so it
Oh,
changed.
absolutely.
But then
Heck yeah.
X-Men The Last Stand comes out, all the background stuff, like all the things that happen. It's so it's still made like what 459 million, but everyone's like, that wasn't good.
Well,
Uh,
and I think it's funny that, and I think the trilogies of all these really, and going into things like Green Lantern and everything else, if you try to pack too much story, too many characters, too much things to cover, not enough development and all this stuff, it's gonna fail. Look at how many characters. So they tried to do the Phoenix Saga, they tried to do the Cure, they tried to do just add in like all these different villains, Juggernaut, Multiple Man, like all this stuff in X3, and it fell
oh,
flat because they didn't give enough time for any of this stuff to happen. X-Men Origins, same thing. Every character should have had like a little bit of something, or like they could have had a montage for getting the team together for Weapon X. Even that would have been like, oh, that's where this guy came from. This is why he's here. This is doing that. And Green Lantern, now I will
that's
say
not a movie.
Your X-Men Origins Wolverine is probably my Green Lantern. I enjoyed Green Lantern for what it was. I thought there were a lot of really good things about it. Too much story. They tried to
Too much
do an
story.
origin. They tried to do Sinestro changing factions. They tried to do Parallax. They added in Hector Hammond. I'm just like, guys, it's not. You need more time for all this stuff. So I think. Well, hey, well, do you hate Green Lantern?
It's well, all right. So I watched Green Lantern, and this is the only time this has ever happened to me. I felt nothing. Like if you had the lie detector or whatever on me, a blood
Mm-hmm.
pressure, anything,
It
it
would
would just
just be a flat line the
like
whole.
you're watching X like Orange, and you're like what, and like bloop bloop bloop, like what, bloop
At
bloop
least
bloop,
there'd be
yeah,
confusion and anger and yeah,
and I just watched. I
sadness.
swear to you, man, like Taika Waititi's in it, and I everything that happened in it, there was
I
no hate,
completely forgot he was in that until
there
I
was no
watched it a
hate,
couple.
there's no
Holy crap!
love, there's no anything, there's no like that was
Yeah,
terrible, and there's no that was good, there was no I'm annoyed, there's no
that was a film.
that was
That was an
neat,
attempt at a film.
it was this.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would rather watch X-Men Origins because I don't like movies like Green Lantern. If you watch a movie and you feel nothing, that's bad. Like you're not even bad enough to make me be like oof. Like and so that's why I have a weird relationship with that movie. But hey, I just want to run through the
Yeah.
X-Men franchise real quick. So like
Yeah.
X-Men
Go for it.
comes out, like Last Stand made 459 million. Wolverine comes out, it only made 374. That's not a lot. But I think people are like kind of wary of Last Stand. So what's interesting
Mm-hmm.
though is Last Stand and Wolverine come out. They make, they kind of scare audiences off. First Class comes out. First Class is really good. And audience is like, oh, okay. Like, all right, we're back. Like, this is good. Made 355 million, not a lot. Like, and then like the Wolverine made 416. That's really good. They're like, oh, so we've had two good X-Men movies in a row. Oh, Days of Future Past, 747 million. Oh man, we had three good ones in a row. Deadpool comes out, 781 million. They're like, oh man, we've had four really good Wolverine, like four really good X-Men movies in a row. Then Apocalypse comes out, and everyone's like, oh no, like this is not good. And then you get the high
Mm-hmm.
with Logan, you get the high with Deadpool 2. Then Dark Phoenix comes out, and that's another movie you just feel nothing in it.
I didn't. I have not finished it to this day. I
It's
just can't. Elite. So my wife watched it. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it." I was like, "Go ahead, tell me what you think." And even she was just like, "I don't." There was, if they had only, and she couldn't like get full thoughts out. She was just like, "I don't understand." And I was like, "That's all I need to know. I'm
yeah,
not gonna watch it. Thank you for that."
and
Because it would be a repeat. It would be a repeat of X-Men Origins Wolverine, or even a repeat of The Last Stand. It's one of those things that, and again, Hollywood doesn't learn in certain things, but like they want to tackle those really big storylines. X-Men, you have to talk about Dark Phoenix. Fantastic Four, even like you have to do Doom.
in
You have to do Doom.
Galactus,
And Galactus, and like
Surfer.
they're gonna try again here, but like that stuff is so, for comic book fans or just in general, like those storylines, people, if you say Dark Phoenix, people will be like, oh, I've heard of that. Like there's like some recognition there, even if like they didn't even like aren't comic fans or really big, like there's just something there that those stories are so well known and such a staple of franchises that people be like, oh, I know what that is. So automatically you're setting the bar higher. And especially for the ones that really know it, like you gotta do it right. Otherwise, it's gonna be terrible. And so they've tried Doom. three times, and it did not work well. I still liked Fantastic Four. I thought the first Fantastic Four was fun.
Good soundtrack.
Michael Chiklis is the thing to this day. I think is perfect. I love me some Michael Chiklis. I will fist fight someone that says something bad about Michael Chiklis.
Remember that first one though? His wife comes out on the street and she's like in like her lingerie,
Oh
and like
God.
she's like Laurie Holden, and like she's like her hair's like just straight up angel lit, and like the just and then she sees him and she's like, oh,
Horrified.
and then she runs away, and you're like,
you're you're this thing now, and that's how you get it in there.
but I just think it was so like I was like, oh no, but I don't. Both those movies I had a good time with, right? Like they're bubbly and they're bright and they're fun.
Yeah, but back to the thing that there are certain things that people know a little bit, and like you have to get it right. Otherwise, it's gonna be not good. So that's one of the reasons I didn't watch Dark Phoenix, because they didn't do it right once. I knew they weren't going to do it right again. They need to get away from those incredibly well-known things, and especially if it's a new franchise or an origin story or whatever, they need to start small and work up. I don't know with the new Fantastic Four, they already talked about Galactus and Silver Surfer. I'm still hoping for Mole Man. I want Mole Man to show up in Fantastic Four. I think they need to do a first movie just about Mole Man. He's the main character, and everyone's like, "Oh, how could a movie do that?" You have everything subterranean. You could make up whatever you want. You could have a kaiju underground that levels buildings. All the moloids and certain characters can just sink a skyscraper because they're working on things underground. And as soon as that, tripwire hits, it just bam. Like, that would be great. And then taking the Fantastic Four into a smaller area, subterranean something where they're not comfortable or necessarily the best equipped or effective into, that'd be great.
Well, the Fantastic Four should be about what?
The Fantastic Four should be about what? It should be about the first family.
Yeah.
It should be everything with, and
absolutely. So don't bring in Doom. Like, I love what you said. Look at Iron Man.
I mean, he can be there. Victor can be there. If they're doing another origin story, which why do they need to? Because we've done it 2 times already. Like, oh, Victor's part of this thing. They were rivals. Something happened to him. He's in the hospital. Leave him there. He'll get out later. He'll have to deal with his demons and everything else. Like, you don't have to jump to the immediately most recognizable thing because it's going to be a sink or swim.
It's Hollywood desperation. Man of Steel made 700 million. They're like, we need Batman. And then it's like, okay, well, no one got.
No, you don't.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, well, no, neither got the attention they deserved. And I think it's very reactive. And I love what you said about Mole Man, because think about Iron Man. Obadiah Stone was the villain in the first Iron Man.
Yeah, Ironmonger, still a very recognizable villain, a staple of the Iron Man rogue gallery. I mean, you didn't have to jump straight to Mandarin. You didn't have to jump straight to like any of the other like gigantic Iron Man villains. Just start small, something that is doable and able to be surpassed or handled while these people are figuring out who they are in this new persona, whether it's a power or an ability or a suit of armor or whatever the case may be. I mean, Captain America, the villain could have been, arguably the War, but you had the Red Skull, who is the fanatic, who is also juiced up on super soldier serum. That was perfect.
And made sense for the story.
Absolutely.
And you don't need all of that immediately, but I think IP is big. People want big. Like this X-Men Origins, I guarantee you they probably spent 50 million marketing it. You got to take the market share with that. Like they wanted to build a franchise, they want to do spin-offs. It's kind of crazy, like whenever people want to do spin-offs, like Blade Trinity, no spin-offs came out of that. You a lot of movies where they're like, we're gonna throw people in.
There's not gonna be a Hunter Hearst Helmsley vampire spin-off,
and it's like
an origin for Hunter.
Like they're just like, we need to make money after this, so let's just throw people in here. It's such a bad plan, and it hasn't worked many times. So it's
But I mean, if anything worked, it was in
Parker Posey.
Ungame. You shut up. In game, when they brought everything, like we're just gonna throw as many people in, but they were already established. They
Yeah,
were already
exactly.
there. It's a culmination. Like you don't have to start with, I mean, can you imagine if they didn't do Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, all this stuff, and they were just like, we're gonna do an Avengers movie. Like how differently that would have been received.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, it wouldn't work.
Like because people cared
No one
about
would
these people
care.
already. There was something, yeah, there was already enough of a like or dislike with these characters. I know the first Thor kind of gets crapped on a little bit because of certain things.
Brother,
I thought it
brother.
was I thought the Thor has been the most Thor he's ever been in that first movie. And I can put it down to one scene. It was when he was in the diner and he had a cough and he was like, "This is
Another.
delicious." And he just slammed it down. It's like, "Another." That's the Thor that I still want to see, and I've wanted to see since the first movie. Elise and I get into it a lot, and I know we're tangenting audience. Okay, you're talking about Avengers and
There's
MCU.
not
We're
much
supposed to
meat
be
on
here.
X-Men
We're supposed to
Origins.
be here about X-Men Origins. We'll get back to it. Trust us. It's one of those things that like the my biggest problem with the Thor movies is it's gotten too humorous. It's nothing but joke, joke, joke. And Chris Hemsworth is awesome at humor. At his comedic timing and everything going on is great. But when you start to rely on that, it loses so much for what it could be. I thought that Ragnarok was fun, but like it was everything was a joke, and I was getting sick of it. Which is why I was really excited when Hercules showed up in the after credit scene, because I just want a Greek demigod to fight an Asgardian god and just have it be nothing but like banter and punching and drinking and just like no jokes, no haha, look at your chest hair, just beating the literal crap out of each other. Because a couple years ago, I go into my comic collecting phases where, oh, I'm gonna collect Ghost Rider for this year. I did my like Juggernaut phase where I have my first appearance of Juggernaut, which is right there behind me in the shadow box that you can see in our video. I went on a year and a half spree of just getting Hercules books, and it was the funnest year and a half that I've had in a long time with collecting comics, because Hercules is just here to drink, bang chicks, and fight. And that's it. Like if you look at like his first appearances, he's just here to like prove himself in battle and bed ladies and drink a good ale. And honestly, if you think about like Thor, it's almost the same thing. Like he is so prideful on his own reputation in battle, or just as a god or whatever. Like he's always trying to impress people, he's always trying to best people in battle, and it's never been, oh, who can crack the best joke, and it's gotten to be like that in the MCU, and it bugs me.
Yeah.
So I really hope
Love and Thunder's
that
bad.
yeah, I really hope the next time that Hemsworth or anyone else shows up as Thor, that they bring it back to that, just like I'm here to throw down and
Drink coffee and
you
slam
know
it on the ground.
drink
But
drink coffee, break bones, and grant bruises.
it,
Um,
but also to Thor Ragnarok, I just want to say it, like he just killed off all the Warriors 3. And he was just kind of like, I don't care. Like I don't like those movies. And like that's
yeah,
I don't sometimes I don't like it when directors do that. Like the Halloween franchise has 43 timelines. Like it just kind of, I don't care what came before it. I feel like Origins did that as well. Like, what's Deadpool? Dash, so his mouth shut. Who cares? Who's Gambit? Is he gonna have an accent? No. Who gives a shit? Like who's
can he
Saber?
fly a plane? That's all we need. Get him
Yeah,
on there.
exactly. Like they don't care, and like that always
Yeah,
bothers me. And I think the best, like Ryan Reynolds loves Deadpool, like so that show that works because he
yeah.
loves Deadpool. I think John Favreau loved Iron Man. Robert Downey
Oh
Jr.
God,
loved Iron Man.
yes. Yep.
And also too when we're talking about villains, like Tom Holland, his first villain was Vulture. Like that's not a huge, like it's a big villain, but it's not Goblin. It's
Yeah.
and it's crazy too. Like look at Spider-Man 3. Like, Spider-Man 1 and 2 were gigantic. And
Hmm.
then he was going to do Sandman as the villain, and then people were like, okay, throw in Venom. And then that messed up the synergy of the entire
Yeah,
film
and you have to
because
throw in another goblin, and
yeah,
it got to be too much. If you start spreading your focus around to too many things, it's gonna lose. It's gonna lose. It's just
and
gonna lose.
they just keep doing it. Hollywood keeps doing it, like Love and Thunder. Like I don't even that movie's just bits after bits after bits. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's a tough thing. Like I really enjoyed the Marvels, but you have so little time for the three to like get to know each other and learn each other. And they do during the thing, but they just kind of chuck them together. And
Yeah.
then you just like the Eternals too, I like, but like the Eternals is an odd one because it looks great, but it's half a Chloe Zhao movie and it's half an MCU movie. There needs to be a synergy. Like I think that's why Iron Man works so well because he respected MCU. Like I think the Russo brothers too. Like they didn't make half a Russo brother movie, half a MCU movie. They made an MCU movie. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's like I love Eternals, but it's so divided because it's like her
Yeah.
50-50. And I think if you're gonna hire a director, you need to make one who's like, I'm gonna make an MCU movie, I'm gonna make a Wolverine movie, like I'm gonna make
Yeah.
there needs to be a synergy. And there wasn't a synergy on Spider-Man 3, there wasn't a synergy on X-Men Origins, there wasn't a synergy on Blade Trinity. And obviously it's
Mm-hmm.
super easy to say, like, if there's no synergy, a movie's bad, but like it's just really interesting how they just you everyone wants to make the best film possible, but then you're like, no, toss in Venom. Like, don't
Yeah.
do this. Do like it just sucks. Like it
Yeah.
I think just the best comic book movies ever are the ones where this is very obvious, but like the ones where there's like a synergy and the people care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You give the time on screen to develop something for people to care about or to hate, whether it's a villain. I mean, you could hate the main character, you could hate the hero if you wanted to, but it's getting people to care enough to want to continue on. And I know we've strayed again, audience, I know we've strayed from X-Men Origins, but I'm bringing it back. Mark, if you think there was one thing that you could go back, rewind the clock, give Gavin Hood and Mr. Benioff and all these people one thing to try to make this movie better, whether it be a suggestion or a focus or a budget or whatever. What do you think would be the one thing you would give them to say, here's how you can make this movie better?
Finished script.
Finished script.
They didn't have a script.
Yeah.
Like at least if the script's not great, it'll still be better than what we got.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
they could plan the action scenes. They can maybe have good
Yeah.
VFX. Like, hey, these claws won't look like garbage. And
Ugh.
like, and I think some people do like Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie. They find it on the day a lot on Mission Impossible. But Tom Cruise is so experienced and McQuarrie is so experienced they can do that. But if you give that to Gavin Hood, David Goyer directed Blade 3. Like if you give that to untested, even Zack Snyder, I feel like they sort of threw a wrench into his plans. And I think he's best when he works as Zack Snyder. And like just let them be. Like just let them be. Don't mess it up. So I would just say finish script and
Okay.
just finish it. Like don't just finish script. That's it. Hey guys, the writer's strike is coming. Get a script you're happy with. That's it. What about you?
I would say give a specific focus. Like uh, finish script or not, that thing jumped all over the
It's
place.
three
If you had
movies.
just been like, hey, focus on their journey through the wars, or hey, focus on Wolverine when he was out of everything and the happiest that he could have been and how that would get fucked up, or hey, let's just focus on the Weapon X stuff and leave everything else out of it. Like they could have made a movie of him being a part of Weapon X and the program from A to B, A to Z, and it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't have to go through like him tracking, Sabretooth tracking down everyone else. Like if they had a specific focus for that movie on where it's going to be this era of Wolverine, again, because it needed to be an origin movie, whether it was his discovery of his powers, his journey from the 1800s till now, his relationship with Sabretooth, his experience in the Weapon X program, how he got the adamantium. If they just had that one focus, but like this is the story we're going to tell, this is going to be a beginning to end of this portion of his life, I think it would have been better.
Yeah, they messed up big on this one. And but you know what though? I think it's more fun that we talked about the behind the scenes stuff because like I don't know, I don't have a good time just going that movie sucked. This sucked. Like I like understanding why it sucked, and I feel like I do now. Like I do understand why it sucks.
The reasonings are definitely there. I mean, I told you before we hit the record button, I was like, Mark, I tried to watch it multiple times. It was hard. It was because it kept bringing back those memories for me. But knowing about the whys behind the, not even failure, the whys behind the shortcomings, let's say, because we're trying to be nice. We just don't want to come in and say this movie sucked balls. What a piece of crap. The reasonings behind the shortcomings and everything you said absolutely makes sense. But and again, this is how, between you and I or whoever's listening to this going through, like, it doesn't, I understand it doesn't forgive it, because dear Lord,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's one of those movies. This movie is one of those where, given enough time passing, you see it pop up on your Netflix or your HBO Max or whatever, and you're like, X-Men Origins, oh, Wolverine. I haven't watched that in a while. Maybe it'll hit different this time. Every single time
Bad.
does not.
Bad. Yeah. It's not like nostalgia doesn't make it better. Time doesn't make it better.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did have fun. I was like, why is everyone standing still? Why is no one ever moving? Why
That's
are
the biggest thing that you told me that hits. I was like, oh my God, whenever I do watch it again, because I know it's an inevitability, I'm going to be looking out for that stuff every
why
single time.
why does everyone just stand in the elevator? Everyone just stands around
Yeah.
because they had no time. That's
Yeah.
it. And all right, before we get out of here, I want to do something. I want to do a superhero movie, but they have to. I sent you a picture. I don't know if you can pull it up, but the
You did. Yes.
superhero movies with Rotten Tomato meter scores draft. So
Oh, I've got options and backups
because
ready to
I'm a
go.
gentleman, I'm gonna go first.
I was going to say, if you tell me to go first, you usually have the guest go first a lot of the times. And I say, no, sir, not today. You go first. We're switching things around.
Blade.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that, because I have to stick with my all-time favorite, which I think you know what I'm going to pick immediately, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I have to. There's no question about it. God, I love that movie.
Listen to our episodes about it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
My
take.
my love for Elias Koteas and everything
Oh
Turtles.
yeah, and Fallen, and we've been doing this for a while.
That
Yeah,
made our Elias Koteas trilogy.
I'm gonna take Constantine then, because that's like one of the best looking
Oh,
superhero films
absolutely.
ever made.
Absolutely. I am going to. I'm trying to cover a bunch of different genres, or at least publishers on this one. I'm gonna hit Man of Steel, because
Oh
we
yeah,
talked about it earlier. And as much every single Zack Snyder movie that's come out after that, Batman, Superman, Justice League, I have not liked. It just rubs me the wrong way. I loved Man of Steel.
it's
I
one vision.
loved it.
It,
Exactly. It didn't need a director's cut for it to be like, oh, this movie's going to be a lot better if you watch the director's cut. Then it's not a good movie. If you need that additional extended blah to make it a good movie, it's not a good movie. It also, like, just the full on Dragon Ball Z Zod Superman, like, massive destruction fight. That's what a Superman fight should be. So that's my second, Man of Steel. Love it.
Perfect. I'm gonna take Glass. It's a superhero film, M. Night Shyamalan, that
Mm-hmm.
that did not give viewers what they wanted, but it gave me what I wanted. And I'd read an M. Night thing recently, and I watched it again. Man, I had tears in my eyes.
I need to rewatch it. I don't remember a whole lot. I remember going back and watching Split and absolutely loving it. And of course, I love Unbreakable, so I need to hit Glass again at some point.
It doesn't give people what they want, but I loved it, so I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah. Well, Biodome doesn't give people what they want, but I love it. So there's different strokes for different folks. I'm gonna go kind of off the wall a little bit. I'm gonna say Push.
Yeah, Chris, that's
Yeah,
it. I watched that. They did a
yeah.
lot of beautiful on
It's
location
fun.
work. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good that you have your different, like, your different benders, so to speak. Your air benders and water benders with the pushers, the influencers, all that stuff. And I haven't watched it in a while, but when it should have on the list, I was like, oh, that was good. I
yeah.
really like that. So yeah, I'm gonna hit Bush on there. And yeah, you got what was it, Dakota Fanning and
Evans.
Chris Evans. Yeah, it was great.
They
Fun stuff.
they shot it on location, and it looks great. Like they, it's not a set movie. It's like on in the streets, and
Hmm.
it makes it feel pretty great. Like I like it.
Yeah, it's for what you would expect from a superpower or a superhero, quote unquote, movie. It's different. Kind of like how I don't know if it was on the list, but The Losers was kind of the same way,
Oh yeah,
right?
that one's never quite worked for me.
Next episode.
Okay, let's do
Um
it. No, you know, People have wanted to do that with like for a long time. So if you want to do it, I'll do it. I don't care.
Do we need to get some? Do we need to get a couple other people involved? Because I feel like I'm skipping the line if we.
Uh, I can talk to some people. I can run it by some people.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Next pick.
Punisher Warzone.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I don't think I've ever seen Warzone actually. I remember seeing bits and pieces of it because Winstone is Frank in it, right?
It's mother effing
Oh, I feel like he would
Ray
be
Stevenson. Ray
fantastic. Oh,
Stevenson.
Stevenson, not Winstone. Yeah. No, I feel like he'd be great in it. And I remember seeing bits and pieces of like I think it was scenes with him and Jigsaw. And I was like, oh, that looks good. But I just don't think I ever got around to watching it for one reason or another.
Get in with the tone, right? It's very, it's like comical and out there and ultra. Like
Mhm.
just sit down and enjoy the ride. It's
Okay.
glorious. Right.
All right. I need to ask because I couldn't quite see on the picture you sent me. Shazam was it the first one on there, or was it
Second
Fury of the
one. Second
Gods?
one.
It was the second one. All right, I haven't seen the second one, so I'll go over that because I love the first one. The first one was great.
Oh, I
I
did
thought
have
it was super
Shazam. I
fun.
put the wrong one. My bad. But yeah, it is
Oh, okay,
Shazam too.
okay, cool. Yeah, the first one I thought was great. I was like, that got a rotten score. I was like, that was really fun. All right, I will go ahead and do Batman Forever.
Oh, that was my.
You get away. It's funny. It was right around that time. It was like Batman Forever, Batman Robin. When they're recast, like
Oh,
Michael Keaton, and it's the whole like who's the best Batman, who's the best Bruce Wayne. I thought Michael Keaton was phenomenal as both. Batman Bruce Wayne was wonderful. I thought that Val Kilmer was a better Bruce Wayne than or I'm sorry, a better Batman than a Bruce Wayne, and I thought George Clooney was a better Bruce Wayne than the Batman. It just went back and forth at that point. But it was also right around the time that like Jim Carrey as the Riddler was just so off the wall and so
and Tommy
goofy
Lee Jones.
and comical. Yeah, I mean, just like it harkened back to the Adam West era of just like how zany they ended up being, and like the little things like Sugar and Spice, and like Drew Barrymore was in there, and Nicole Kidman being hot as hell as Chase, Dr.
Oh
Chase.
my gosh, yeah. She
I
just
can't remember the last name.
she goes so hard on Batman in that movie too.
Yeah, it was no, it was fun. It was just fun.
Yeah.
And you could say what you want about like the bat nipples and the close-ups of the bat suit, buttocks and things like that. But even like the introduction of Robin, we finally got Robin. Like Chris O'Donnell was Chris O'Donnell, and it worked out okay, but it was fun. Like the whole Flying Graysons thing and the reveal of the costume, it was fun. It was a fun
Listen,
movie.
the best stat about that film or best fact is that Joel Schumacher shot it like under budget and finished it ahead of time. And that's one of the biggest movies I think of. The set builds are gigantic. It's just
Yeah.
everything, but he did it. He shot it under budget and ahead of time. Like, how do you do that? Like, anybody else shoots Batman Forever, they're dead. Like, but he did it. Okay. You took my fifth. So it's down to Punisher 2004, The Punisher 90, Blade 2. Daredevil's fun because of Colin Farrell and like Jennifer Garner, and the Bring Me to Life where she draws faces on the sandbags and then like she has the sandbags
Oh,
time.
that's gonna have to be another episode too, man. I
I
have my
love
likes
Daredevil.
and my big problems with Daredevil.
Oh,
Oh
it's the
God.
CGI is horrifying. But
Next
like,
episode.
yeah,
Next
okay, let's
episode.
do
I think
that.
we're gonna have to do this.
I think so because I love Colin Farrell in that movie. He's just unhinged and like out of his mind. Okay, do I want to do Venom? I'm gonna do Blade 2 because I just
Okay.
love Blade. I don't care. Blade 2.
Okay. I've got two choices for my last one. And I'll tell you my reasoning. It's between because also more off the wall, it's between Spawn and Hex. And I'll tell you why.
Don't do Hex.
Let me tell you why, Mark. So Spawn, and I think part of why I put Spawn on the list is because when I was in Raleigh GalaxyCon, Michael J. White was there as a guest, so I got to walk past him like a dozen times. And let me tell you, that man had a line. Holy crap. I didn't expect just the overflow to be in use every day when he was there. I remember when Spawn came out, and Spawn was one of those first image books when the company started, and it was like pushing the limits and doing all this stuff, and it was this grandiose thing. Todd McFarlane with the cape and the chains and all this other stuff. And I remember when the movie came out, I was excited. I was just like, "Holy crap! What are they gonna do?" And Michael J. White did a good job. I mean, John Leguizamo was the
Johnny
Violator.
Legs, yeah.
Come on! Oh my God! It wasn't straight up like what, I know a lot of people, and even Michael J. White doesn't never wants to talk about Spawn. He's essentially saying, F that movie. And it's not the best movie, but I will watch it again and be like, that's entertaining. Like
Mhm.
just the Al Simmons being in hell, and the CGI at the time was great with Malboja and everything else being around, and like the army of other Spawn, like it was entertaining, it was cool, and it was different. That's why Spawn's on the list. Hex is on the list because when I started getting back into comics in about 2004, Jonah Hex was one of the first books that I picked up at that time at DC. It was episodic. You could miss 8 issues and pick it up again and just have a good time. And it made me be a fan of Western comics. Josh Brolin as Hex was perfectly cast. He, out of all the shortcomings in that movie, I thought he did wonderful. The makeup and everything for the scar was great. Just the way he talked, everything I thought was great. John Malkovich as the villain, I thought was a good job.
Fassbender's in it.
Fassbender's in it. Yeah, it's like the Irish freaking tattooed up, like, secondary villain. I thought he was great. Megan Fox was in the movie. And yeah, not a great movie. I remember watching it again a couple months ago, just be like, oh, I haven't watched this in a while. And it still wasn't great. But the main things that were there in the movie, like we were talking about X-Men Origins being a revenge movie. Hex is definitely a revenge movie. Like, he's going after Malkovich whenever he can get up to it and going through. I thought it was I enjoyed it for what it was. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and put Spawn on there because I don't want to upset Mark, but also I think just with everything that I had said right now, I think Spawn comes ahead of Hex. But if you had chosen Spawn, I think Hex would have been on my list.
I wrote Spawn down.
But you didn't choose it.
Even
So
if you said Jonah Hex, I would have been like Spawn.
Spawn. You don't get to choose it. I run this podcast. Yeah, so let's see. I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I have Push, I have Man of Steel, I have Batman Forever, and I have Spawn. I'm happy with that. That's a good list.
I got
That
Blade,
mixes it up.
Blade, Constantine, Glass, Punisher, Warzone, and Blade 2. I'm very
Boom.
happy.
Oh yeah.
All Almost all are rated. Glass is PG-13. This is good. All right. Well, hey, where can people find you, Nathan? Where can people
Oh God, I'm in Minnesota these days. I'm in the wintry north. I don't know. You know what? Find me. Here's the thing. I had two buddies, two of my best friends, Chris Degnan last night, one from, middle school through high school, one from college. They roped me into Fortnite, Mark. They roped me into Fortnite. I've avoided it for years and years and years, and now I'm playing it. And now there's a Marvel season, so I'm gonna play it even more now. If you're like, hey, that guy's funny, I want to talk to him, or I just want to join him in some Fortnites because I don't have friends that play it. It's honorary GL. It's also my Twitter handle. I'm not super active on there, but you can find me honorary GL on Twitter. It's going to be a combination of me sharing comic book news, whether they're commissions from people, my antics at Comic Cons, or my painting adventures for my miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons or Marvel Crisis Protocol. People have asked me, hey, you going to get into Warhammer 40K? Hell no, because that is money that I don't have, and that freaking fan base is brutal. And if I put a wrong color on a Space Marine, then I'm gonna get hate mail. So I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, honorary GL gamer tag on the PlayStation Network. If you want to just play around on there and talk movies or comic books or whatever while we're digitally shooting people and trying to survive, that's fun. And then yeah, Twitter honorary GL. And then yeah, you'll just find me on movies, films, and flicks tournaments and commenting on things that I probably am not as schooled in commenting about.
and
But
our Ewok versus Predator episode, our
oh
Legion versus
God.
Priest episode, the Crudes, Fallen, the
Teenage
Prophecy,
Mutant Ninja Turtles, we did the
TMNT,
prophecy. And don't forget, how dare you, Mark, Desert Heat
Desert
with
Heat.
Jean Claude Van Damme and Danny Trejo.
And we've been doing this for a while.
We have been doing some bonkers stuff. I know TMNT was our first one, and then we did our Elias Koteas trilogy, and then we did a couple final fights when you were doing that. We did Shredder versus the Turtles
Yeah.
and He-Man versus Skeletor. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of stupid stuff since you asked me to be a part of this, and it's been fun and bonkers and we go on way too many tangents. We did our Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah,
How can we forget our Royal Rumble? We
yeah, that
did
thing's
our
incredible.
action hero Royal Rumble. We're not going to give away who won it, but I will say that Ernest P. Worrell was involved, and that's all I'm going to say about it. So go check that nonsense out.
That poor stadium. Yeah. All right. Well, this is lovely, man. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, absolutely. No, I always have a blast coming out anytime you're like, hey, let's do this movie. I can't say no.
Well, it's
So
a nice way to hang out and get nice
yeah.
content out of. It's nice. Like
Yeah, and I deal with stress and other things in my life with humor. When I go to work at Comic Cons, that's where you and I met, and you dealt with the attendee masses and celebrity area. Anytime there is a gigantic line for Dante Bosco or John Bernthal or Matthew Lillard or whoever it may be, that is the prime drive for attendees that given weekend. If I'm dealing with 200 people and they're irate and they're tired and they've been in a line for 2 hours, if I can get them to chuckle, man, I feel accomplished. So if I can get any of these guys who are talking about these movies to give a little bit of a guffaw, then that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. When I was there, I'd just be like, Nathan, go over there.
Yeah, go grab this balloon and find this random message from a guest that we is no longer here, and see if we can find some sort of prize to make these people happy.
Oh man,
That's
that
a
was
deep dive
yeah. That
for people that don't know Marco or myself. We'll get into that
on
on
the
the next
next one.
episode
Yeah.
of Movies, Films, and
All
Flicks.
right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Nathan Lahaye, this is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.